Today is episode 200 of Tesla Tidbits. I'd hoped for a significant show, but it seems we have no news today. Still, it gives us a chance to recap the current state of Model 3 reservation holders, and you get to hear me wax a bit poetically on my own Model 3 journey. Here are your Tesla Tidbits for March 22nd, 2017. Nearly a year since the reveal for Model 3, we first check in at Model 3 Tracker to see where everyone stands with their hopeful configurations. The figures I'm about to give do, of course, represent only those that have registered at the Model 3 Tracker site. There will be some inherent bias due to this, but it is nonetheless interesting to see what everyone is dreaming of. The site now holds a total of 7,456 reservations. About 80% of those dreamers come from 5 countries. 60.33% are from the United States, 10.3% are from Canada, 4.75% are from Germany, 3.59% are from the UK, and Sweden rounds out the top 5 at 2.39%. A whopping 69.9% of reservation holders will be upgrading their battery. Likewise, 71.4% of reservation holders will be taking the dual motor option. Again, in the 70% range, 70.6% will have the standard drivetrain. 18.1% will take the performance version, and 11.3% will opt for the ludicrous upgrade. The favorite color among those still being produced is deep blue metallic at 17.3%, followed by red multicoat at 13%, and lastly, black at 10.1%. Solid white received 16.2% of the vote, but no longer exists, at least for now. Autopilot tells us an interesting story. 21.9% of reservation holders will not opt for any autopilot. 46.5% of folks will accept the enhanced autopilot configuration, and 31.6% of folks will load it up with the full self-driving option. To date, 6 users of the site have canceled their reservations, less than 0.1%. This bodes well if it holds on extrapolation. Using the 373,000 figure that was last announced for reservation holders, this would mean that just fewer than roughly 373 cancellations overall will be happening. However, the bias of registering on such a site means that this should likely be significantly lower than the rest of the population. Either way, fun statistics to look at every so often. We'll check in again on the final reveal day when we can start seeing some delivery numbers. Lastly tonight, you don't get to hear my opinion too often, but on episode 200, without much news to speak of, I felt a bit of reflection was in order. As I mentioned earlier, we're nearly a year to the day since Model 3 was revealed to the world. Does it feel like it's been that long? I know I don't feel like it has been, and I know personally, even with just over 3 months until the scheduled start of deliveries, the wait still feels as interminable as the day of the reveal. But we can take much hope thanks to our Roadster, Model S, and Model X brothers and sisters. The lessons learned by Tesla during those launches have brought us to this point, with release candidate cars ready to be hitting the road, and at higher quality than either Model S or Model X were at this point, according to Elon. We've heard of no supplier delays, and only one supplier issue in general some time ago. Model 3 is poised to make history on so many levels. It's already made history with an unheard of number of pre-orders. If Tesla can stay on time with their production plans, this will also be the first vehicle they've launched on time and at the volume promised. While I still have my doubts about getting to the volume promised, I think launching on time is not only possible, but likely. I have to admit that the way things seem to be going so well is a bit unnerving, but again, lessons learned hopefully explain it, in addition to getting better suppliers and teams at those suppliers. We still have the final reveal, which at this point sounds like it will be at the delivery event. And this makes sense, as it went the same with Model S and Model X, where the production car was revealed as the first owners took the key fob. The final reveal will give us the answers to some of the most pressing questions we have. Will the much-discussed HUD come to pass? What exactly are the spaceship steering controls Elon referred to? What will the options pricing be? Will those out there that have been so optimistic be correct and we all rejoice? Or will the pricing be much closer to Model S and Model X? Much can still go wrong before July, but I very much think that at least 50,000 of us can realistically have our cars before the year is out, and that is awesome. I want to thank all of you out there listening. I started this thing as an outlet to be able to creatively express my excitement for Model 3 and to not annihilate my friends and family with Tesla day in and day out. While I think my wife may question the effectiveness of this execution, I hope you all have been enjoying it as much as I've enjoyed bringing it to you. The constructive criticism you've provided and the interaction I've had via this show have been great. It continually reinforces the positive image of the Tesla community, which is part of what made reserving the car special to me. I think I've come a long way in 200 episodes, and I cannot wait for the episode when I take delivery of my long-awaited dream. Trust and believe that will be a video show on that day. Special thanks out there to all the patrons that have supported me in this mission. You are helping make my dream a reality. Right now, I sit at about 35% of the down payment I'm hoping to achieve, although a large boost will be coming via my tax refund whenever the government gets around to getting it to me. I was hoping to make it to at least $25,000 for the down payment, but it seems more like $18,000 to $20,000 will be more likely. Of course, this depends on where I'll sit in the queue as well. That the car seems to be on time is actually something I hadn't planned for. I expected at least a 6-month delay and cars not beginning delivery until about Q1 2018, wherein I'd get my car likely in Q4 2018. But if things remain on schedule and at volume, it's quite possible I'll see my car in Q1 2018, Q2 at the latest, meaning a few options might have to be sacrificed. I've got 4 different configurations I'm eyeing. My base config, made up of the options I just won't compromise, is dual motor, enhanced autopilot, multi-coat red, with white seats, and I'm budgeting it to roll in at a $53,400 price tag after taxes and fees. Guys, remember those taxes and fees because that will be a significant portion of your payment. My max config adds a battery upgrade, the premium upgrades package, carbon fiber trim, and that awesome glass roof, and carries a $65,400 price tag out the door. No way in the world my machine will be performance or ludicrous unless this show takes off in a way I couldn't have foreseen. Just don't have that kind of scratch. But that's perfectly fine. It'll certainly be quick enough, better than anything I've ever owned, and certainly be better than my current '05 Honda Civic LX. You reservation holders out there, feel free to send in your configs and what you believe they'll end up costing. I always like seeing how people are setting up their cars. I think that's about it for my ramblings tonight. Thanks for indulging me. If you get some value out of what I do each day, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. As always, thanks to super patrons John Waltower, Drew Schuyler, Cookie UK, and John Waller for supporting the show at the $10 plus level. If you're pinching pennies, that's totally fine. Please feel free to support the show with your positive iTunes reviews and subscriptions, as well as across other services on the internet. Also, feel free to support our friend Drew if you're in the market for a Tesla. Get yourself $1,000 off using the referral link ts.la/Andrew1233. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits. That's it for today. I'll see you back here again tomorrow. Until then, keep it charged and hit the road.